hot take question for you
Already, jeez.
because
I was
I feel
hosting.
we should get this out there now.
Yeah, sure.
We haven't really been watching AEW
Okay.
for a little
Okay.
while.
It's been okay. We tuned out. The holidays came. MJF losing and was
Yeah,
pretty hot, but like I don't know. I think Joe winning was great, and I was so happy for like a week, and then I lost
yeah.
momentum. I don't know.
Well, I
Something.
guess let me ask a different question first.
Sure.
When did you feel like you kind of tuned out of AEW? Like, can you like pinpoint? Because we went to Arthur Ashe, we went to Grand Slam.
Yeah, I guess you could say after that show almost.
Yeah,
No, honestly, I think after because I watched um their pay-per-view. I watched their pay-per-views, but after the CM Punk drama again, I think I tuned out. Like I got I wasn't gonna let it like get to me, and I was like, you know what, if they say they're going to Arthur Ashe, I'm gonna go to Arthur Ashe. And we did. And that was fun.
yeah,
I know for others it was underwhelming. I still think it was fun. It definitely wasn't better than the one that we went to. Definitely wasn't better than their first Arthur Ashe where they had fucking Kenny versus Bryan Danielson.
yeah.
Like
We should have gone to that one.
I know we fucked up on that one. I don't know why we didn't go. I think we were scared. We were pussies. Um I definitely started tuning out more towards them, but I still would like, watch highlights, tune in here and there. Like I'll catch the live maybe. Look, we we pride ourselves in like talking about wrestling because this is one of our things, but like we don't watch WWE consistently either. Raw is too fucking
No,
long still. I really wish
yeah,
they would go to if they're going to Netflix, they just dumb it down to 2 hours. Time will tell. SmackDown was super interesting for all these years for me. Well, since I got back, and it's been almost unwatchable for me. Um, it's okay now. It's fine. Well, it's hot now, especially with the feud going on. But even then, like,
yeah,
it's not enough to like bring me in. But look, when it came to AEW, I was definitely rooting for them because I like competition. But the shit with Punk with Phil Brooks, man, like
mm,
it did bother me. It left a bad taste in my mouth. Like again, like come on, like what? Why is this company acting like they don't have the personnel, the money
yeah,
to like hire the right people to keep these dudes in line? Like I get there's a lot of like hands-off approach, like without the promos, and that's great, and I love it. It definitely goes well. I know some of the promos aren't always gonna hit, but that's how it was back in the day. You didn't have writers for this shit. You either went out there, came out with a great promo, or you didn't, and that's how you learn on the fly. Um, for all these purists out there who talk about like wrestling's dead or like kayfabe is dead, like AEW is bringing back one of the older things, and that's their promos. And Phil could definitely cut a promo, but he couldn't contain his attitude either. So
yeah.
yeah, I feel like that's definitely a reason why I tuned out. So
I
I did watch the
remember.
pay-per-view though. I did watch the Sunday pay-per-view though.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I think that a main thing for me was just accessibility.
Mm,
Like I
mm,
watch the WWE pay-per-views because I have Peacock.
right.
But the AEW shows, hey man, be honest, they're a little expensive.
They're a little expensive.
And
Also Bleacher Report or whatever they stream on isn't very good. In fact, they had troubles with the streams that they had to put it like last minute, I think, added to Fight or whatever. I could be
yeah,
misremembering, but yeah, it was just not good.
and I also don't have cable, so
I don't
I
pay for cable
don't
anymore.
watch Dynamite. I think if I had cable, I think I probably would be watching Dynamite.
I was watching it a lot. I was watching it on Hulu when I had Hulu with my at home with my family.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I would watch the replays. I remember actually watching an episode, a rewatch with on Christmas Eve with my dad, and he was like really into it. He
That's
was like, "Yo, this
amazing.
is really good shit." I was like, "Yeah, AEW. Remember the name?"
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So my second question, since we both, I mean, you saw the most recent pay-per-view,
Hmm.
but consistently we've both kind of been a little bit out of the AEW loop recently.
Mainly AEW.
Um,
I've been consistently like tuning in more to segments on WWE for sure.
yeah. So they got a couple of big names. Obviously, Will Ospreay was announced a while ago, and then we got Kazuchika Okada joining, and then maybe Miss Monet, whatever her
Money.
out of WWE name is going to be.
Monet.
Uh, Does this move the needle for you? Because we did an episode a few months ago
Hmm.
about Edge,
Hmm.
and we both said it was a huge move. It was a massive needle mover for
Damn.
AEW. We
Damn.
were totally wrong. I don't know how
Damn.
else to phrase
I mean,
it.
yeah, we're
Edge did
wrong.
not move the needle.
No,
He has not really done anything in AEW.
other than just work with his best friend, and
Yeah, and
that's purely his choice.
yeah, and the other matches slash like mini feuds that he has had have been not he just feels like another guy. I don't know how else to phrase it. He
No,
just feels like another dude. Um, so do you feel like Okada, Osprey, is this, for me
it should.
personally, I'm super interested now because these are two guys that I was a really big fan of, and they wrestled in Japan, so
Yeah.
I couldn't see that many of their
Well, it goes back to what you said,
matches.
accessibility. AEW's inaccessibility. Now it's actually more accessible, and now they're on your time schedule in your state, in your country. You're gonna see them more often, hopefully, it, on pay-per-views. It works. So like these are guys that were essentially like, unless you had a crazy sleep schedule, they were pretty much DLC or paywall locked in a different region of the world because
Yeah,
that's where they work, that's where they wanted to work, and that's where they got signed, made big bucks, and wrestled the style that they wanted to. AEW exists to be friendly to all styles and all um fans of wrestling, even WWE, whether WWE fans and AEW fans want to agree or not, it's meant to be the alternative, and that's always what it's pride itself in. And this is what we signed up for, is we wanted to see that working relationship. We wanted to see the wrestlers we couldn't see in WWE who refused to go over there because let's face it, at the time, they would be wasted or they would just be ruined. Ricochet should, in my opinion, be a world champion ages ago. He was stuck feuding for the 24/7 title for I don't know how long at some point in his career. Um, and got squashed. So,
yeah,
that man's super talented. I feel like he would thrive in AEW. We can see him and Osprey go at it for ages again if he was with AEW. But, I digress, and it is what it is. But now we get to see more dream matches with Osprey, and they already set it up with fucking Bryan Danielson in
yeah.
fucking
You were
America.
really excited about this prospect.
Yeah, like that just blew my mind. I'm like, oh shit, we get to see that. Holy shit, that's awesome. That's incredible. The guy who fucking broke the internet and broke a bunch of fucking old school head wrestlers, and the guy who was regarded as one of the best grapplers on the indies, and just a sweetheart, beloved by the wrestling fans. Now we get to see that. Yeah, sign me the hell up. And Okada,
Yeah,
basically the John Cena of Japan. That
yeah.
guy, that guy went out of the country, not putting anyone over. So that I like to think the statement of the John Cena of New Japan of Japan is pretty valid. That man did not lose. And he won and has the record, I think, for most uh world heavyweight title wins in New Japan. Which, with a beautiful drop kick like that, I mean, rightfully so. The man worked his ass off to be where
Yeah.
he's at. And now he wants to be here in the States. Um, I applaud him. I applaud him for what he's doing because, you know, he doesn't have the amount of recognition he had in a whole nation of Japan.
Hmm.
In entire and just in general, I think that side of the world, he had all those fans. He had them
Yeah.
here. Trust, they were here. I mean, I don't know how many times I watched Okada versus Omega 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I kept tuning in, watching those highlights and watching just the fans just lose their mind after the matches were over. Like this guy really, really made me think about what more could be out there in terms of talent. And this is the
Hmm.
one guy I wanted to see more of here in on my side of the world, my time frame where I don't have to wait until 1 a.m., 4 a.m. to watch him wrestle or wait for the highlights the next day. So this is great. Yes, this is a needle mover. My only concern is like the booking hasn't been the best, which is another reason why I tuned out. I guess, with AEW.
Yeah.
I want the booking to be better. I want people to be pushed, who are there, who know we have talent. Some of it, it's maybe it's the own fault of quote unquote own fault of the wrestler. Like Keith Lee's just not healthy. That's not entirely his fault, but he's not healthy. I feel like that guy could have gotten pushed, but he is older now and he got sick and he can't move it like he used to. So I feel like
Nah, it's over for
it's
Keith Lee,
it's
man.
over. I just feel like,
At least the main event, like
he
big, massive superstar that we all thought he could be, and
and
then it looked
should have
like he
been
was going to become, it's over.
man pinned Randy Orton clean.
Yeah.
Clean.
Dude, he was the lone survivor. I mean, he lost to Roman Reigns, obviously, because
Yeah.
Super Roman, but like the Survivor Series in like
Some
2018 or
I don't know.
19,
I don't even remember now.
he was the only one left, and he went toe to toe with everybody else and Roman. And I think it came down to just them two in the
So
finals. But anyway, yeah.
so I
This
think
is
it's that's I hate to say that, but it's gone. I think that's
yeah.
past. Even Malachi Black, who I was very high on, I think that's past.
Yeah, I was gonna bring him up actually, because it is kind of it's crazy because we always talk about how AEW has like such a talented roster.
They do.
And it just seemed bizarre that like a lot of these guys that are currently in AEW have basically felt like they're in the same place on the card that they were when they got there. Like they didn't move up. It's kind of insane that we didn't get, I don't know, Malachi Black versus Samoa Joe. Like that,
Mm,
it just that wouldn't seem that natural because Malachi Black's not he's not in that main event spot. I don't know. He's
but
just not. Same thing with Pac. Uh, you could say the same thing about the what do they call them? Four pillars of AEW, where like
yeah,
MJF's the only one that actually
got the
became
title.
a megastar. Um, but for a
Sammy's is in there
company that
too.
lost MJF to injury, not he's like still with the
Hmm.
company.
Hmm.
Um, I felt like I felt like his injury, where it was like very obvious he was going to lose at World's End. Uh, that's where I think officially like tuned out
Yeah,
because I, I was happy Joe won,
same.
but Joe in both AEW and WWE gets booked to lose so much that by the time he finally won, I was like, yeah, I'm happy, but like I kind of wish he hadn't fucking been like pinned and lost so many other times.
Yeah.
Um, and now, I mean, we could be totally wrong because we completely got this incorrect when Edge joined,
Hmm.
but Okada and Osprey in such a short period of time,
Yeah.
it feels very Bryan Danielson of like it feels like a this is elevating the feel of AEW like to a big time. Like Okada, I mean, if I don't think Okada is very mainstream in America.
Mm-mm.
I think he is very well known amongst wrestling fans,
Sure.
but he's not, you could say the name Stone Cold Steve Austin to a lot of people who never watch wrestling. They'd be like, oh
Hmm.
yeah, I know that guy. I know The Rock. I know Hulk Hogan. Okada in Japan, yes. That's the statue, the stature that he's achieved, but not in America. But to us, to like fans of wrestling, it's a big deal. It's like one of the greatest of all time. Same with
Yeah.
Will Ospreay.
Hmm.
Same with Danielson. Same with Kenny Omega. Like it's crazy that all these guys are in the same company at the same time.
Yeah.
They're not all healthy. Hopefully, we get at least 1 year where all four of these guys are healthy at the same time. But it feels like a big deal. I don't want to overstate it, but it this feels like a big deal. Like AEW finally has, because they have some like not necessarily homegrown, but guys that I guess got over more in AEW, most
Hmm.
notably Swerve. But they were kind of lacking like main event, star power, um, at least diversity, because Hangman's been in and out of the main event a lot since he got there. He's one of the OGs.
Hmm.
Joe has been wrestling for like 40 years. Um, and it's just nice to freshen it up a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, so happens that it's freshening it up with like two of the all-time greats that are still pretty much in their prime. Um, but this definitely has me much more excited for. I haven't felt excited about AEW in a long time.
Right.
Uh,
I hear that. I hear that. I
and
feel that.
it feels, I don't know, maybe we were like fooling ourselves with the Edge thing. That felt like a big deal. I just maybe
It
we
did because like Edge was he was with WWE. Besides like some
yeah,
like touching foot in the business, he had never wrestled for any other company.
he was a born and bred WWE
Yeah,
guy.
he I thought,
Yeah.
and I think he even said he was WWE or die, and he was like, nah, never mind.
Yeah.
And he wanted to wrestle again, and I respect that, and I still respect what he's doing, and I'm happy he's doing what he's doing with his best friend. It's just like I think it's been going on a little too long. I think it's past it. I think he just should have won the title, and that's it.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess it was like there was no real direction beyond the Edge and Christian thing.
mhm,
It's like, well, Edge is older, so like does it make that much sense to have him go for the AEW title? Like, sometimes I guess we would argue that these guys go to AEW, but outside of their initial debut, it's like there's no plan.
mhm,
They're just in AEW now. And then it would become obvious that there was no plan because they wouldn't really do anything. There were plenty of guys like Andrade and Malachi Black and Buddy
mhm.
Murphy that we were super excited for that just didn't do anything in AEW. But none of those guys were of the career uh, achievements, even Edge,
Mm.
career achievements and pure in-ring talent of Okada and Osprey. So it feels like maybe this is a turning point for AEW. And maybe this is like the shot in the arm that they needed.
Maybe, hopefully,
It's hard to lose Kenny Omega. It's hard to lose MJF. Danielson is hanging in there, but I'm sure, maybe if there were a few more big name guys, maybe he would have taken some time off. Um, but this is definitely enough. It's turned my attention towards AEW, which is not easy to do when it's WrestleMania season.
all right,
So the fact that they're finally getting maybe some more fans back, because there's always those diehards that are like gonna watch literally every single week.
for sure.
But most of us don't, and it's cool to feel like we have a reason to do that again.
Yeah, and I think Okada's definitely, uh, I guess, quote unquote, a needle mover. He was a needle mover in Japan and was a needle mover here in the States. Obviously, not as much to the casual. But I think there's a lot of good that can come from this, and there's still a lot of good that can come from like other signings too. There is still time. There are people that some of these signings are still young, but time is a ticking, and people get impatient. So they really like I like what they did. I honestly I know maybe some people are indifferent, maybe some people are like, well, they'll see how it goes. But I I thought it was phenomenal the way he just came in and said fuck it and just hit them. Hit Eddie Kingston, a fan favorite by the way. Great heat.
Yeah,
And he just looks so he looks like an almost like I don't want him to be an enforcer, but he came off like an enforcer for the Bucks. And
yeah,
I know Okada English isn't his first language. No disrespect to him. If he learns a language, great. If not, that's his choice. If he does, awesome. But the Bucks would be great mouthpiece for him because they have so much heat on them from the CM Punk fans and just people who are digging what they're doing because like they're leaning into that EVPs. They know
dude, it's so. Did you see that they? It's so funny. They like kayfabe fired Kenny Omega
yeah,
from
because he almost fucking
WWE.
died. He didn't show up to work, dude. He almost died.
They said he missed too many dates. He wasn't showing up for work.
It's
Like,
genius. It's not
oh
genius,
my
but
gosh.
it's wonderful. I like it.
Yeah.
And just with Okada now being there, basically replacing Kenny as the best bout machine. They could easily dub. Imagine if they just said this is the best bout machine. Fans would lose
Oh,
their fucking shit.
dude, I am hoping and praying, and I have faith because I know Tony Khan wants this to happen.
Hopefully.
But Kenny and Okada one more time in the States, man.
Oh my
Like,
God.
I mean, it just it writes itself
It
now in
writes itself for
history.
sure. Um,
This is man, could you imagine? I don't want to, get our mouths watering too
I
much.
know.
But just imagine a reality where we get Omega Okada,
Mm-hmm.
Osprey Danielson,
Mm-hmm.
MJF, Adam Cole, all on the same pay-per-view.
Yeah, I really
Uh,
want to like. I know this is a lot. Like, I want Swerve to win, but I also want to see. I don't want to see Okada lose, but I really want to see him face Joe. Like that's
Yeah,
an indie darling, a TNA legend, a woulda coulda been in WWE because he definitely beat um Roman Reigns clean. I'm pretty sure. It's been so long. Great Balls of Fire, R.I.P.
yeah,
I mean that he should have won then. He should have beat Brock.
yeah.
Ah,
Dude, the beginning of that match, do you remember? Where he
yo,
just like beat the
he,
shit out of Brock. He put him through
yo,
a table. Oh my
yo.
God.
That was great. But like now I want to see it. There's so much to be excited for because this guy is a legend in his own right. He built his name. He deserves to get the praise, the hype that he's getting. I know that again there's going to be the WWE purists who are like who say fuck anything that's not WWE. And even the purists who like just screw everything classic NWA who like
Yeah,
won't get it and that's fine, but like you also just because you focus on your own territory doesn't mean that this person doesn't deserve the respect from the wrestling world. Because, hey, it made noise last night. He made noise before, and he's still making noise now. So let's see what he can do. And I'm excited. I'm really am excited for this signing.
yeah.
It's
It's
perfect.
fun to be excited for AEW again.
Yeah.
It's like I've I've become a really big Will Ospreay fan. I've been an Okada fan for a while now.
Yeah.
But those guys, their matches always felt very special because I didn't get to watch them very often.
Hmm.
Like they weren't on TV every week. And so the prospect of that finally happening in our time zone is really exciting. And it feels like this would be really hard to screw up, even
Hmm.
as the booking at AEW has been getting a lot better. So
Yeah.
hopefully they're able to carry that forward. And it does feel like they're in a place now where they have a lot of really exciting potential matchups.
Hmm.
I am curious to see how they handle Okada's lack of like a grip on the English language. I wouldn't be surprised if he, tries really hard to learn. But I don't
Yeah, I
think
think
it's
he will.
necessary, if I'm
I don't
being
think so
completely
either. I don't
honest.
think it's necessary, but I think he'd definitely do it.
Yeah, but
Just
like
because his friends are.
there were a lot of the best promos that Shinsuke did, he cut in Japanese. Same with Io Sky.
Yeah, it just
Um,
sounds more menacing and doesn't feel like they have to try
yeah,
hard or think about it. And that's fine. That's what we want from a promo. You just want it to come off as naturally and authentic as possible.
yeah. Do you
That's why I love Joe.
yeah, oh my God. Joe's promo style, it's kind of similar to Jey Uso, where it just like his way
Yeah,
of
loud
speaking makes it all sound
and
so like
menacing and
just
menacing.
so real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Final question,
Yes, sir.
as this has just kind of been sort
Hmm.
of a all over AEW episode. What do you think Okada's first, rivalry match? I guess they have a show in a couple months. I don't really know their pay-per-view schedule
Oh
anymore.
no, it's in a couple weeks. It's in Boston. They're
But
having
like pay-per-view or just like a big episode of Dynamite?
no. It's a pay-per-view. I'm pretty sure.
Really?
Or maybe I'm. Oh, am I wrong? I thought they announced it as a new pay-per-view for Boston.
No, I think it's just a big episode of
This is how
Dynamite.
you could tell. Like
Can you
we've
tell
been
we
out.
don't watch the show?
Hold on, I got you right now.
Um,
It's not Homecoming.
no,
Battle of
it's
the
like
Belt. Revolution. Big
something,
Business.
yeah, big business. That's not on a Wednesday?
I don't think so, my friend. Uh,
It's the 24th, right? I don't
um,
know. I don't remember.
yeah,
AEW Big Business.
if it's the 24th, that's a Sunday, dude.
Is it?
Yes. Yeah, AW Big Business March. No, it says 13th.
Oh, that's next week.
Oh, so okay, so it is okay, so yeah, so.
Yeah, when I saw Wardlow
Discussion.
versus Samoa Joe, I'm like, yeah, that's not the pay-per-view match.
So yeah, she's definitely gonna debut. Oh yeah, Darby Allin has to get his big send off just in case he might fucking actually die.
Dude,
That
I was really hoping he wouldn't bring up the potential of him dying, but I'm like, dude, you know you might die on Mount Everest. And he apparently was like, yeah, I might die on Mount Everest. Like,
he's
thanks,
training.
Darby. Thanks, man.
I mean,
Yeah.
at least it wasn't his. It's not gonna be his with the last time we see him. At least we'll see him next week. All right. So yeah, all right. So big business. I'm definitely gonna be tuning in. Watching
Oh, hell
that.
yeah. Hell yeah.
Definitely gonna see. Hope for that big old reveal. That's not a big. It's not much of a secret anymore.
Nah, not anymore. I guess let's end on Sting.
Oh, word.
His career
We should
wrapped
just do.
up at
No,
Revolution.
the AEW peers are gonna come after us now. Why did we do a separate podcast just on Stern? All right.
Well, I think
I.
I might cut this up into a second part.
That's all right. Let's wrap it up with Sting.
So Sting's final match, you got a chance to watch it. I have not seen it yet, except for that insane spot that Darby did where he just crashed through, looked like real
Yeah.
glass.
It,
Tore
it
the shit out.
it wasn't the kind that would kill you. It's a
No,
specific glass that would break up the
CM
way it
Punk
did.
approved.
Oh, definitely. He would have disapproved. Anyways, um, it was great. I asked a question earlier, in private with Chris if he was okay winning. And honestly, I never thought he wasn't gonna win, but at the same time, I didn't care if he did or didn't. But when he
Right.
did win, I was just like, yeah, no, this needed to happen.
Yeah.
Just send them off happy, send everyone home happy. I'm sure they would have loved to have booed the Bucks for winning and all, and they would have figured that out. Yeah, it makes sense, but no, that he went out on top, and I think that made for a better end to the pay-per-view. Left fans cheesing and smiling, and I'm sure tearing and crying because this is a guy that essentially young kids wind up growing up watching and then having their sons watch also, which is pretty fucking cool. And that's
Yeah.
awesome. And I respect that. And then also I really thought he came out when his sons came out dressed as versions of him. I really thought that Surfer Sting was him. It's like, "Oh, cool. He's going to go out the way he started." No, that's not him. That's his son. I'm like, "Holy
Dude,
shit."
some strong ass jeans.
Yo, I watched his video of his son talking about how like he wanted to cut. I'm like, boy,
Yeah,
how did you cut so quickly? Like he got shredded. Like I've
I
seen pictures,
know.
dude. He's clearly just a power lifter. And I'm like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that doesn't look well on TV. So I just started cutting and not eating. I'm like, what the fuck? Hey, good fucking genes. God bless you, dude. More impressive that you did that and you want to do that for your dad and stick to the bit. Both of them, honestly, they were all everything about this was great. It leaves a nice warm tingly feeling in my heart. And I everything about this was yes. I loved it. It was
Yeah.
great.
I think the whole like going out on your back thing is just very cliche. It's very old school.
For
I
sure, for
think,
sure.
I mean, my opinion, I think is still very much like if it makes sense, if there's like a real reason why you should, quote unquote, put over the other guy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um, there is the Young Bucks would have had nothing to gain by pinning Sting.
No, not really.
They've done pretty
Titles,
much
but they don't need
everything.
that.
They don't need the rub. The only idea I had, which would not work because Sting just can't, I don't think, work a singles match,
Mm-hmm.
would have been Sting versus Darby. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
but that's the only scenario, kind of, because it would have reminded me of like HBK versus Ric Flair when we all
Mm-hmm.
thought he was retiring. Um, because I kind of like the like student teacher type of matches, where like I taught you everything you know, but I didn't teach you everything I know, sort of thing.
Right.
But I think given Sting's age and injury history, just wouldn't have made sense. And also at that point, like, why risk? Like, I know that Darby probably would have just let him get thrown around for, 10 minutes and then maybe
Mm-hmm.
pin him off of a coffin drop. But Sting deserved to win his last match.
Yeah.
I think most of these legends deserve to win their last match. I'm also permanently scarred by Baron Corbin pinning Kurt Angle.
Yo, you cannot let that go. I'm so sorry.
Dude,
I feel so
that is
bad for you.
all the evidence I need to never let another legend lose
Mm-hmm.
their last match
Mm-hmm.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
I unless it really has to make sense. But again, like you're in there with the Young Bucks. I feel like if anything, they would have been like, absolutely not. We're not pinning him uh, in his last match. That's not gonna
Yeah.
happen. And yeah, dude, I remember when he debuted in WWE, which like broke the internet at the time because
Mm-hmm.
people just thought that would never happen ever.
Yeah.
Um, and he still should have won that match against Triple H. That was bullshit.
Triple H is
He
fucking
lost at
egotistical.
WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Triple H's ego getting in the way yet again. Um, but yeah, what a career.
What a
What a
career.
career. I was very skeptical when he went to AEW and teamed with Darby because I thought he was going to hold Darby back. And I didn't think a tag team was a good idea at the time. But over the years, it really grew on me. And
Same. Absolutely.
yeah, they turned into a real team. Sting and Darby, man. Now it's funny. They ran
Yeah.
that promo where, they were asking like what's next for Darby, which is a justified question
Mm-hmm.
because Sting is literally half of his personality at this point.
Yeah.
But it's crazy that they went from a team that I was like, do we really need this to like, dudes, no more Sting and Darby. This is such a bummer. Like they're
Yeah.
synonymous with each other now.
Mm-hmm.
And he has had a hell of a career.
Yeah. To Darby's credit, I think obviously we know he'll be fine. He's still fucking young. And like he's a two-time TBS champion, which
Yeah,
should still mean something, I think.
of course.
Um,
Of course.
so yeah, like kudos to him. Oop. And I think that's really about it. Thank you so much for listening, beautiful people of the podcasting universe and world. We will catch you on the next one.